Do you feel that no matter how long you've been learning English, you're still not fluent enough? When will you know you've finally become fluent? What is fluency anyway? Does it really exist? Does it mean the same to everyone? What does it mean to you? In this video, I'd like to explore these questions and more. Are you ready? Let's dive in. If we haven't met before, I'm Magdalena, a qualified English teacher. English has been one of my passions for many years, and I'm very happy when I can share this passion and love for English with my students, when I can teach them useful, practical things. In one of my previous videos, I shared my personal language learning journey with you, so if you're interested, feel free to check it out on my YouTube channel. As a language learner myself who speaks 5 languages, I understand the struggles, challenges, and fears you may face. So I hope I can encourage and inspire you, motivate you, and teach you something new. If you watched my last video, you know I talked a lot about fear in general and the fears language learners often face when trying to speak a new language. I don't want to repeat myself, but I truly believe that this video is packed with valuable thoughts, ideas, and questions to help you or someone you know overcome those fears. I really encourage you to check it out. Check out that episode and start enjoying your language learning journey even more because it should be enjoyable. We only get one life, right? By the way, if you find this video helpful and inspiring, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment with your thoughts or questions, and give it a thumbs up. Your feedback, positive or negative, is greatly appreciated. It encourages me to continue making these videos. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about fluency. This word is used very often, but what does it really mean? When your teacher says you need to improve your fluency, what do they really mean? Or when you compare your English to your friends and think their English is more fluent, what do you mean by that? What is fluency? By the way, is a 5-year-old native speaker fluent in their language? What about a 10-year-old? And how much cultural knowledge do you need to be fluent? These are just interesting questions to think about. Before we continue, let me tell you what fluency is not, at least in my opinion. I know, you probably never thought this, but for everyone else who did, let me help. Fluency does not mean knowing every word in the language. Fluency does not mean speaking without any mistakes. It doesn't mean understanding everything. And fluency does not mean speaking without an accent. You just need to be clear enough for native speakers to understand you easily. And of course, it doesn't mean that once you're fluent, you no longer need to learn. Just wanted to make sure we are clear on that. First, let's look at how some dictionaries define the word fluency. Cambridge Dictionary. Okay, so according to Cambridge Dictionary, fluency means the ability to speak or write a language easily, well, and quickly. What does the word well mean? This is my question. According to Oxford Learner's Dictionary, the quality of being able to speak or write a language, especially a foreign language, easily and well. Again, well is not very clear, right? Do you remember the word vague from one of our previous videos? It means unclear. So I think these definitions so far have been pretty vague. According to Collins Dictionary, someone who is fluent in a particular language can speak the language easily and correctly. Correctly? Does that mean no mistakes? Perfect English? Oh well. Okay, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, fluent means being capable of using a language easily and accurately. Accurate is also a big word. What does it really mean? Okay, according to the British Council Learn English webpage, being fluent means you speak easily, quickly, and with no pauses. What do you think? I think it is strange to say that someone who speaks a language well never pauses. In real life, we naturally pause during conversations for many reasons. To think about what we want to say, to choose the best way to say it, or to create a special effect like adding drama, emotion, or suspense. Do you know the word suspense? The feeling of excitement or nervousness that you have when you're waiting for something to happen. Of course, these are two different things. Pausing to add drama or pausing because you're trying to figure out which tense to use in a sentence. So I think we can agree when you look up the word fluency in a dictionary, you get a definition that is a bit vague and not very useful in real life. According to AI, speaking a language fluently means you can communicate easily and naturally without too much hesitation or difficulty. You can speak and understand well and have smooth conversations in different situations. Okay, so if you were hoping I would give you the one clear definition of fluency, I'm sorry, I won't. Why? Because I just can't. Why? Because there is no single definition. Even language experts don't fully agree. Fluency is just a general idea, like the words proficiency or CFR level. It gives people a basic idea of your skill, but it's not exact, it's not perfect. I believe the only definition that really matters is the one that makes sense to you. So, should we just stop here and say this topic is too difficult and hopeless? No, let's keep going. Let me help you think about what fluency means to you, because that's what really matters. Right, so now I'm going to share some different ideas or statements about fluency. You can even call them definitions. As we go through them, don't just listen passively. Think about them and ask yourself these questions. Is this point important to me? How am I doing with this statement? Can I say that I reached this stage in my language learning journey? If not, is this one of my goals? As we go through the list, I believe you'll get a clearer picture of what fluency means to you, where you are now, and where you need to grow or improve, okay? So remember, the big question we are discussing today is, what does it mean to be fluent in a language? Let's start with the first statement. Fluency means you can have a flowing conversation, speak smoothly and freely without the need to pause and think about the grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation you need to communicate. So basically, you're able to speak without lots of long pauses or obvious searching for words. Of course, it depends on the situation. Some people can handle tourist conversations, small talk, or general business situations well, but they might struggle with topics like medicine or mechanics. Even in their own language, they don't know many technical terms. That would be me. If you ask me to talk about topics related to accounting, for example, or IT, I would just freeze and wouldn't be able to add much, even in my own native language, because it's just not my world. It's not my field, and I simply don't feel at home in those areas. Okay, let's look at the second one. Fluency means you can live a normal life in a country where that language is spoken without needing to switch to another language. You can say what you think clearly, understand what people say in everyday situations, and keep a conversation going easily. Number 3. Fluency means you know enough vocabulary that even if there is a word you don't know, you can describe or explain it in the language so that the other person understands and can tell you what the word is. This is so important. This is one of the most important survival techniques for language learners. I hope you're using this in your English lessons. When you don't know a word in English, instead of saying it in your native language and waiting for your teacher to translate it, try to explain or describe the word using the English you already know. That way, the person you're talking to can understand what you mean and give you the English word. Number 4. When you can do everyday things using the language and don't need to look up words in a dictionary. When you can go anywhere, talk to anyone, and ask anything you want without needing to prepare, search online, or think too hard about it. When you just feel comfortable. Number 5. When you can easily understand new words based on context. When you can understand idioms, puns, and jokes. I'm sure you know what an idiom is, right? It's a group of words in a fixed order that has a particular meaning that is different from the meanings of each word on its own. Let me give you an example. Are you familiar with this idiom? Are you pulling my leg? Okay. When someone asks you, are you pulling my leg? They don't mean it literally that you're pulling their leg like this little boy is pulling his dad's leg. But what they mean, are you joking? Okay, are you pulling my leg? Are you joking? So this is an idiom. Or do you know this one? I'm under the weather today. It means I'm not feeling good, right? I feel a little sick. I'm under the weather today. Now, a pun is a humorous use of a word or phrase that has several meanings or that sounds like another word. Let me give you some examples of puns. Let's have some fun. If you see an Apple store get robbed, does that make you an eyewitness? Did you get it? Let me repeat. If you see an Apple store get robbed, does that make you an eyewitness? This joke plays on the similarity between eyewitness, a made-up word that sounds like, can you guess? Eyewitness, a person who sees a crime or event and can report it. And then you have Apple's branding. Apple names many of its products with an I at the beginning, right? Like iPhone, iPad, iCloud, etc. So what we have here is wordplay. We have the word eyewitness and eyewitness, like an Apple product. So this was a pun. Here's another one. Why couldn't the pony sing in the choir? He was a little hoarse. Now, this one is a classic pun based on homophones, words that sound the same but have different meanings. A little hoarse, okay, you have the word hoarse, look at it. It's when your voice is weak or rough, right? Often from overuse or illness. You sound hoarse or your voice is hoarse. And then you have a little horse is a pony, right? So again, what we have here is wordplay. Horse, rough voice, and horse, animal. Okay, let's get back to our question. What does it mean to be fluent in a language? 6. I think this one is interesting. When you can show your personality in the language without using your mother tongue. Can you show who you are? Can you share your story in English? 7. Being capable of speaking a language and thinking in the language. For example, when you watch a TV show and forget for a moment that it's not in your first language. In my next video, I will be talking about this and give you some tips that can help you start thinking in English because I think this is so important. 8. Being fluent means being good enough for the situation you're in. So let's say if you know you'll be going to a wedding where international guests are expected, prepare some small talk questions and answers. Be ready to talk about yourself, your job, your hobbies, your country, and so on. Let me take this chance to encourage you to check out my fun and practical series of making small talk. It's full of useful ideas, expressions, questions, and answers. You can have a sneak peek in the video course. See the link in the description. Instead of spending hours on the internet trying to prepare for small talk, just enjoy and learn from what I've already created for you. By watching the videos, you'll see, hear, and if you're willing, even speak. I truly believe this video course is amazing and super practical. I worked on it for several months, and you know how an artist feels proud of their artwork? That's exactly how I felt after finishing this course. I just love it, and so do many of my learners. So, if you're interested, please fill out the Google form below, and I'll send you more information about the course. I really want to equip you to feel confident and comfortable when making small talk. This is so important that you don't feel lost. Then, if you know you'll be traveling to the US, prepare some travel English. The kind of language you'll need at the airport, on the plane, going through immigration, in a taxi, at a hotel, etc. If you're planning to buy a car in a foreign country, learn the vocabulary related to that situation. My point is this: take control of your learning. Don't just wait to be spoon fed by your teacher. Course books are helpful, but do you really need that text on Van Gogh, for example? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Nothing against Van Gogh. You might need something different than what's on page 10 of your textbook in your next lesson. I'm not saying you don't need a teacher, but just be creative, take initiative, and be an independent learner. But structured learning is important, okay? And a good teacher can help you with that. It's just that you know your life best. So, to sum it up, I think the only definition of fluency that really matters is the one you personally believe in. For example, if you feel fluent in English because you can live and communicate well in Canada, let's say, that's perfectly okay. If you expect more from yourself, that's okay too. Of course, if you're planning to take a language exam, then it's a different story. Check what fluency means for that particular exam. But more importantly, know what fluency means to you and where you want to improve. In my next video, I'll share some practical tips to help you start thinking in English. Yes, it is possible. You don't have to translate everything into your native language in your head. Your teacher doesn't have to explain everything in your first language, not even grammar. You can start thinking in English. If you watched this video until the end, I want to say thank you for your attention and your precious time. I know you must be very busy, so I really appreciate the time you've dedicated to watching my video. Please let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts or questions, or send me an email. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Thanks. Have a beautiful day. May the Lord keep you, bless you, and shine His loving face upon you. See you next time. Bye.